Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sans33 here, and welcome to the show about Pokemon TCG stuff mix up. And today we're looking at the new set that came out on November 8th, that is Legendary Treasures, which is the last of the black and white sets before X and Y is released. Now there's also those X and Y deck things that came out with Froakie and Chespin, and Fennekin. Those have X and Y cards, but Legendary Treasures came at the same time, and it's last black and white stuff, so yeah, and we're also getting some new rule changes that came out at the same time, both to certain cards as well as just mechanics of the game, and it's looking to shape up like an interesting game heading up for the format after or during cities with this new set and new rules. So yeah, let's take a look at my opinion on the new cards and the new rules. So before we get to the feature presentation, I'm going to take a quick look at the new rules that were introduced on November 8th. The first rule involves the first turn. Now you decide who goes first before drawing your initial 7 cards. The player who wins the coin flip now gets to decide if they want to go first or second. What's the point of all this? Well, the big part of this is that the player who goes first can't attack on their first turn. This is a very good change in my opinion. The player who went first had a clear advantage before this, giving the game more of a luck factor. This also eliminates pretty much any possibility of losing on the first turn, unless you start with a 30 HP Pokemon and they play a Laser and Burbank, of course. I think most of the time players will want to go first, but going second is still a valid option if your deck relies on aggression or a certain attack to set up the rest of your deck. Although I do like that they gave some penalty to going first, I think they could have changed the penalty to something else. Like how it was before Black and White, where the player going first couldn't play any sort of trainer cards, or even just no supporters. With you being able to play trainers on the first turn but not attack, pretty much every deck will want to play Tropical Beach, which will make the card even more sought after, even more expensive, and even more needed to be a competitive player. With not being able to play trainers going first, Tropical Beach becomes less playable, and unless your opponent gets an absolutely incredible hand, they're not going to KO you on the first turn. Honestly, I think less turn 1 losses will happen if you can't play trainers than if you can't attack, just because of Hypnotoxic Laser. Regardless, I still think this rule can be pretty much nothing but good, and if we're lucky, Tropical Beach will get banned, like it was in Japan. Yeah, that actually happened. And now for the second and final new rule. For the first time in quite a long time, a card is getting an errata. That card is the one and only Pokemon Catcher. The card that defined the game for over 2 years is finally getting changed. The errata changes the text on Pokemon Catcher to read, flip a coin. If heads, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. In short, it's Pokemon Reversal now. Personally, I hate this rule. The last several sets were designed around Pokemon Catcher being in the format. Now that that's gone, it just doesn't match up. There are so many incredible evolved Pokemon, bench sitters, and attackers that would never have existed if Pokemon Catcher wasn't around. Empoleon, Dusknoir, Garbodor, Garchomp, Blastoise, all these cards are crazy powerful. Heck, Empoleon has already won 3 regionals in Europe. There's also the fact that, we still have the card, it's just on a flip. While there are plenty of other options for a similar effect, Genesect, Ninetales, Escape Rope, Catcher will still be played, especially in the early days of this errata, where people haven't adapted to not playing catchers in their deck. Let's face it, all of the catcher substitutes have big issues, but Catcher can still be just as deadly as it used to, as long as luck is on your side. For every step they take to make the game less luck-based, they take 2 steps back. I can accept the evolutions reigning supreme. It's actually a nice change of pace from the battle of giant EXs versus slightly smaller EXs. But all the hours you put into testing your deck and all the game skill in the world can't help you when your opponent flips more heads on Catcher than you. Now that we're done with that, let's move on to our new set, Legendary Treasures. A set comprised of mostly reprints. Woohoo! To start off this less than spectacular set, we'll be taking a look at the new Ninetales. For 3 energy, Ninetales has the attack Color Coordination, which does 50 damage, but if you have a basic energy attached to Ninetales that's the same type as the defending Pokemon, the attack does 90 damage. While 90 damage isn't all that great, against the grass or metal Pokemon, you're doing enough to knock them out in 1 hit. Since the only energy you need for Ninetales is either grass or metal, depending on the Pokemon you're attacking, Ninetales will work as a tech for certain mirror matches. There aren't too many splashable flyer types that you don't need to center the entire deck around, so Ninetales could be the Pokemon to fill that spot. Spiritomb has to be one of the biggest cards in the set. Its ability, Sealed Scream, states that neither player can play Ace Specs. While this ability does hinder you as well, it's pretty easy to just, not play down Spiritomb if you're going to play race spec. This ability can be good in so many situations. If your opponent's only way to get a supporter is through computer search or dowsing machine, you can win just by stopping them from playing that. It can be played in Blastoise decks to stop Darkrai decks from junk hunting dowsing machine to get back Frozen City repeatedly. But the big use for this card is against G-Booster. If Genesect can't use G-Booster, it really doesn't do anything special. And with Catcher being nerfed, it will be harder for Genesect to knock out your Spiritomb. It also has an attack called Hex Mirror, which costs 1 colorless energy, and lets you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw cards equal to the number of cards in your opponent's hand. So unlike a certain other bench sitter, it's not totally useless when you start with it. I can easily see Spiritomb being as heavily played as Mr. Mime. It really can fit into almost any deck. Except Genesect. Now on to our next Pokemon, Wait, that's it? There's only 2 good non-EX Pokemon in this set? I knew it was bad, but not that bad. Anyway, let's look at the new supporter, Elisa, which comes from the set within a set, Radiant Collection. Elisa lets you search your deck for 3 Pokemon tools and put them into your hand. This card is to tool drop as Silent is to Blastoise. It really is basically the same thing. I feel like Elisa is probably better than Silent just because with tool drop, you can still use Bicycle on the same turn to draw more cards. Using 1 or 2 Elisa in tool drop will probably be a very common thing in the future. And that's the only trainer in this set too. Whatever, less script I have to write. Moving on to the EXs, our first one is going to be Excadrill EX. Yeah, the new gimmick with this set is evolved Pokemon as EXs. Basic EXs. When I said we wanted evolution EXs, this is definitely not what I meant. Anyway, Excadrill's main attack is Dig Out. For 2 colorless energy, it does 40 damage, and you discard the top card of your deck. If that card is a basic energy, you can attach it to one of your Pokemon. For those of you who remember the Age of Ether, you know that you had to play a lot of energy for that to work, as well as Pokedex, but that's rotated, so you have to play Lunatone instead, which is much worse. And considering that Excadrill needs double colorless energy to work efficiently, running that many basic energies will take up a lot of space. And what are you going to power up with Dig Out anyway? Excadrill's second attack is very underwhelming, so what? Mewtwo? Drakion? Genesect? Exploud? I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. Although it is a fast fighting type attacker, the water weakness that comes with it isn't worth it. Overall, Excadrill doesn't really have a place in this format. It seems like it might have potential someday, but probably not. While this next one is probably a worse card, I can already tell you that it will be played more. That card is Meloetta EX. At first glance, this card looks absolutely unplayable. Its first attack is terrible, and its second attack is Round. You know, Round, the attack that Seismitoad, Wigglytuff, and Exploud have. The only difference is that this one costs 3 Psychic Energy. That is an inexcusable attack cost. There is no way you're going to use that attack. But maybe you don't have to. Meloetta is the only basic Pokemon with Round, so you can just put Meloettas on your bench and use other Pokemon to use the attack. Meloetta is probably the best thing that will ever happen to Round decks, but that doesn't mean they'll be good. I know you guys are excited for Round, but let's get back to playable cards, shall we? For the final EX in this set, and the only good one, let's take a look at Chandelure EX. Chandelure has the attack Curse Drop, which for 1 Psychic Energy lets you put 4 damage counters on your opponent's field however you like. In a format where every alternative to Pokemon Catcher sucks, being able to snipe for 40 on turn 1, assuming you go second, seems like a really nice attack. If you're looking for straight damage, there are much better options, such as Landorus EX, but Chandelure gives you a lot more options to hinder your opponent. But don't get too excited, Chandelure has some issues. For one, its second attack is garbage. 70 Burn and Confusion for 3 energy is pretty bad. Both status conditions are entirely luck-based, and 70 is a terrible damage output. There's also its weakness, Dark. There's no way this guy is going to be a top deck if it auto-loses to Darkrai. Maybe you could add in some kind of fighting type counter, but I don't see Chandelure going to the top tables anytime soon. I bet you thought that was the end. Nope, there's still tons of reprints in this set. Oh wait, most of them suck. Well, there's still a couple we need to talk about. There are a lot of playable cards being reprinted that are already in the format, which I'm going to skip over, so if you want to take a look at those, go over to Pokebeach or something. Anyway, the first reintroduced card is Seismitoad. Yep, the Ultimate Rounder is back. So for all those round enthusiasts out there, here you go. The next one is causing a bit of ruckus. That card is Gothitelle. The card that almost destroyed the format as we know it is back. Okay, it didn't really destroy the format, but it felt like it sometimes. Its partner in crime, a Selgor, is still in format, so it would seem this deck is going to reign supreme again, right? Well, there are several cards that have become competitive that pretty much render this combo unusable. The first is the obvious Veriziani X. It stops special conditions, and is pretty much uncounterable. The other cards are Genesect and Ninetales. These cards work like Catcher, but aren't blocked by Gothitelle's ability, so you can use Red Signal or Bright Luck to use your items again. You can work around Ninetales, such as killing Vulpixes with Sinister Hand before they evolve, but the other two are going to be much harder to deal with. All these cards are highly played, so I just don't see Gothitelle working. I'll tell you what, if Gothitelle becomes as popular as it was before, I'll eat my hat, and I have a pretty cool hat. Next up is the Energy Press Cavalion. Not much to say about this guy. Plain Clang will sure be happy to have one of its pals back, and as usual, it's a good attacker against Kyurem. For our next card, we have Revenge Bouffalant. It's never been that great a card, but I don't know, 90 for a simple DCE isn't that bad. I could see it being attacking Brizzion Mewtwo. Maybe. Along with Pokemon, there's also 2 reprinted trainers in this set. The best is the one we've all been waiting for, Energy Switch. So many decks get a huge boost from this. Brizzion Genesect, Brizzion Mewtwo, Darkrai, even Ho-Oh might make a comeback. Even though this gives Darkrai a boost it really didn't need, the catcher nerf might give Darkrai enough trouble to counter it out. I'm not sure if Energy Switch is a good thing or a bad thing for the game, but it will definitely be a heavily played card coming into cities. But this next card I know will not be good for the game. Let us all welcome back the card we'll be seeing for 2 more years now, Crushing Hammer. As if the format didn't have enough flips in it. With more slower decks coming into the spotlight, I can definitely see good old Hammer Time becoming a very threatening deck in the new format, as much as I don't want it to.
And that's going to be it for today's video. Of course, if you enjoyed it, I'll be making plenty more of these videos, so make sure to subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Yeah, do that. Do that, please. Anyway, I'm very excited for cities. I have a league challenge coming up this next Sunday, and then it's all cities throughout November, December, some in January, so hope to see you guys. See you guys. If you guys are going to any events in the Delaware or Pennsylvania area, be sure to say hi. I'll be wearing my Team Wilmington shirt. I'm not wearing it right now, but Team Wilmington shirt, I showed it in my last video with the words on the chest and the Pester Ball. I'll be wearing that and a Pikachu hat, so that and Pikachu hat rhyming. So yeah, if you were there, say hi. I hope, and good luck to all you guys at cities. You should definitely go out and play in some. I know they cost a little money, but I mean, Pokemon. Play more Pokemon. Competitive environment. It's fun. It's good to play the game, not just sit in your room and play TCG all day like I do. Or PTCGO. That too. I do that mostly because I'm not a huge fan of PTCG. No, I'm not a huge fan of Play TCG. That one. That's the one I'm thinking of. So anyway, next will surely be a mix-up episode on the new card, or not new cards, deck that I've been testing out and really excited for. I've already mentioned it in this video, and it's about an old card being rebirthed. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.